Momentary Troubles. Chapter 1. Serendipity on Huhang Railway. Episode 6. Heart to heart on the way to Hangzhou Guang'an Hospital. Yan Baohui had never traveled alone with a strange man. However, he was not a complete stranger. They had met unexpectedly twice, and she had learned on the way on the train yesterday that he was a friend of Lin Haoen, the brother of her high school friend Lin Mu'en. She was well aware of the Lin family's value. Birds of a feather flock together. She reasoned that Lin Haoen's friends must be reliable people. Taking Xu Yongdao's car to Guang'ai Hospital during daytime should be no problem, she thought to herself. Take his car and treat this as an adventure. Even if something unexpected happens, the Lord will protect me. She ate a snack, drank a few sips of tea, wiped her lips with a handkerchief, and said softly, Mr. Xu, if it is not too much trouble for you, I'll give you a chance to offer me a ride. Xu Yongdao helped Yan Baohui with her belongings and led her to the jeep. He opened the passenger door and said, Miss Yan, please get in. I'll change my clothes and be right back. She climbed in and took the passenger seat. He took his military uniform from the car and went to the back to change. She took a small comb and round mirror from her handbag and combed her hair neatly. He took off his suit, put on his uniform, and jumped into the car. He caught sight of an oatmeal yellow linen bag embroidered with a little girl. He said, Miss Yan, can I see this linen bag? She handed it to him. He examined it for a moment and said, The girl embroidered on the bag looks a lot like you. He saw that the other side of the linen bag was embroidered with Blessed Esther, 1935. He then looked at the side with the little girl and counted the lilies in the girl's crown. Exactly 24. I guess this embroidery has a special meaning. Is Esther your English name? He asked. Yes, she replied. Miss Yan, can I call you Esther? He asked. In China, we should use Chinese name, she replied. Can I call you Baohui? He asked. Yes, she replied. For the sake of equality, you should also call me Yongdao, he said. Instructor Xu, you're worthy of being a bomber instructor, adept at conquering cities and pressing forward step by step, she said. It is just a suggestion. You can call me whatever you like, he said. I guess Baohui is 25 years old this year, 4 years younger than me, he said, quickly changing the subject. I admire Instructor Xu's intelligence. He knew my age just by looking at the number of lilies. Instructor Xu, you know, asking a woman's age is rude in the West, she said. Baohui, I know. Please forgive me, she said. 宝慧, do you know what my favorite flower is? He asked. I don't know, she replied. Lilies, he said. Why? She asked. The lily is pure and fragrant. It's white, an elegant white. Whether in a valley or surrounded by thorns, it blooms freely and unpretentiously, he said. Then he started the car and said no more. His words stirred her heart. Lilies were her favorite flowers. As a child, she often saw her mother, Mrs. Yan, placing lilies in a vase. She knew from the Old Testament that the flowers carved on the tops of the two bronze pillars in front of the temple built for Yahweh by King Solomon, son of David, were lilies. In the New Testament, the book of Matthew, Jesus said that in all his splendor, Solomon was not dressed like a lily of the field. After the January 28 incident in 1932, her parents were killed by Japanese bombing. She felt that she was a lily of the field, with no one to rely on except the Lord. Just now, he said that he loved lilies the most. Was this a coincidence? Had the Lord sent him to care for her, a lily of the field? At this moment, she did not want to tell him that lilies were also her favorite flowers. Nor did he want to say that she thought she was a lily in the wild. In her opinion, Xu Yongdao in military uniform looked more masculine than in the suit he had just worn, which reminded her of him on the train yesterday. Before, she had never dealt with soldiers, let alone ridden in a car with one alone. She looked at him, steering the wheel, and thought to herself, he looks like a scholar in a suit, and a soldier in a uniform. Oh, of course, he is a soldier. He also likes flowers, lilies, for the same reasons I do. Just now, at the wedding banquet, he asked her about his family. He told her about his family background, his life in France, his interest in French literature, his love of swimming, playing football, and the feeling he had when flying a plane. He said, when I'm above the clouds, gazing up at the clear, vast sky, and looking down at the vast, tranquil earth, I see nothing of the hustle and bustle of the earthly creatures, nor do I hear the clamor of birds' song and the dreadful chatter of people. Looking down from the clouds, the world is a clear, comfortable place. He tried his best to make her understand him quickly. At the wedding banquet, he constantly found topics to talk to her about. Although he missed out on delicious food, and his stomach wasn't full, his heart was content. In her unexpected reunion with him, and the few hours they spent together, she experienced a feeling she had never experienced before. This feeling made her feel the beauty and the breadth of life. His company brought her a sense of security. This sense of security seemed to be a kind that she had prayed for, the kind of security a husband could provide her with a home. Just now he had guessed her age, an English name from the lilies embroidered on the oatmeal yellow linen bag. Starting with her English name, he changed his address from Miss Yan to Bao Hui, quickly strengthening their closeness. As he drove, he broke the silence, saying, "Look, my driving skills are as good as my flying skills." She smiled, but remained silent. She and he, alone in the speeding jeep, were both consumed by a sea of thoughts. She had spent 6 years studying overseas, always alone. Now, suddenly, a dashing officer appeared beside her, taking her on a road she had never traveled before. Yesterday, the same man had traveled with her on the Shanghai to Hangzhou Railway from Shanghai to Jianqiao. "It's wonderful to have a partner by my side on this journey," she thought. A vague sense of happiness washed over her like a dream. At the wedding banquet, he had been so talkative, but now he was silent. He asked him, "Why aren't you talking?" "I have said too much, and now I want to hear you," he said. "What do you want to hear from me?" she said. "Your story," he replied. She closed her eyes and bowed her head, praying silently for a moment. Then, calmly, as if recounting someone else's story, she told the story of the little girl wearing a crown of 24 lilies embroidered on the linen bag. He had heard her story, and he was certain that this little girl was a partner he had prayed for. Her life story and the calm look in her face when she spoke of it aroused his urge to be a hero and save the beauty. He was determined to be her protector. He was sure that she was the lily that he would cherish for the rest of his life. Yesterday, on the train, when he saw her, his heart was moved, but it was a superficial affection. Now, he was deeply moved and wanted to protect her for the rest of her life and give her a home. He continued driving, slowed down, pulled over to the side of the road, turned around, stretched out his arms, and suddenly hugged her tightly. This action was unexpected and swift. She fell into his arms before she could react. She could hear his heart beat. This sudden hug brought her happiness and warmth that he had never experienced before. But she quickly broke free from his arms, returned to the original position, lowered her head, and said nothing. He returned to the original position, put his hand on the steering wheel, and lowered his head in thought. After a few minutes, he turned, his expression solemn and his tone serious. He said, 宝慧, please let me accompany you and protect you for the rest of your life, okay? Companionship, protection, were exactly the lonely girl longed for most now. How will you accompany me and protect me? She asked. With my life, with love and responsibility, I will accompany you and protect you. He turned, took her hand, and spoke. She did not withdraw her hand, but lowered her head in silence, her thoughts swirling. This had all happened so suddenly. Could the life partner she had prayed for just drop from a sky like this? She suddenly remembered reading Les Miserables on the train yesterday, the story of the orphan Cosette's childhood. Thinking of her own orphanhood, she could not help but shed tears of happiness and gratitude. She, more fortunate than Cosette, had not suffered a difficult childhood. She was raised by the loving Reverend and his wife, lived in a warm home, received a good education, and had the opportunity to study in the United States. Now, having just returned home, she had met the man who would accompany and protect her for the rest of her life. Aside from his military identity, the man before her perfectly matched her ideal husband. The power of prayer is truly incredible, she thought to herself. Singing, her tears welling up, he nervously asked, 宝慧, why are you crying? As he spoke, he pulled a white handkerchief from his jacket pocket and gently wiped her tears. It was the same handkerchief he had waved yesterday as he ran after the train. I'm thinking of Cosette in Les Miserables and my own life, she said. Without a word, he stretched out his arms and held her tightly in his embrace. He did not struggle, but quietly leaned against his chest, tears streaming down her face. After a moment, he looked up at him and said, Let's hurry on the way. They remained silent along the way, enjoying each other's company in tacit understanding. That's all for today. Thank you for listening and watching.